Hello, my name is Jimmy Doherty and welcome to a brand new series called Talking Wild, where we get to discuss the amazing animals here at Jimmy's Farm and Wildlife Park by talking to our wonderful rangers. So, today, really exciting, we're going to be discussing our amazing brown bears. And I've got with me Ranger Sam and Ranger Mae. Hello.
Hello.
Are you excited about this new series?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. And what a great subject to be talking about.
Yeah, start with the best.
Start with, well, I don't know, the other Rangers might not like that. Wait till the capybara guys hear about this. They'll be furious. So our brown bears, they've got quite a big story behind them, haven't they? And they've been an amazing success, amazing hit. Tell us about our brown bears, who they are and where they come from.
So our first brown bear was Diego, our lovely big boy. So he came from Sweden. So he came from Orsa Predator Park, which is the same place that we got lovely Eva from, our polar bear.
Yeah.
So he's 14 now. He is, middle-aged man.
He's a middle-aged man. Beautiful looking bear.
Beautiful.
But his story was
bear.
one of a rescue, because Orsa Predator Park had been purchased by developers.
Yeah.
And all the animals had to go by a certain date, and if they weren't leaving, then they were going to be put down.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the keepers saying to me, please, can you come and see this bear? His name's Diego. And he'd arrived as an abandoned cub.
Yeah.
And they had looked after him and grown so fond of him. And he couldn't be put back to the wild because he's habituated with humans. And she said, can you take him? And at that time, we'd just built the polar bear reserve and spent all our money on that. And it was like, I don't know, but we couldn't let him go.
No, he's such a handsome boy.
So that whole mission started. And do you remember the people raising money for him, doing sponsored bike rides?
Yeah, there was that lovely little boy, wasn't there, that did a sponsored walk.
Yeah, little girl did a sponsored bike ride, and we auctioned everything we could, sold everything we could.
And raised the money. Yeah, glad we did.
And built an amazing reserve, which I think he loves. So what is he like? What is he like as a bear?
He has his mood swings. Does he? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes he can be a bit of a grouchy boy. But he's so lovely. Like he's so chilled out, but he can be really playful, and he's just a really nice guy, isn't he?
He is lovely.
Just a really nice
and
gentleman.
He's a handsome Northern European, Scandinavian brown bear, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's a Swedish European brown bear.
He's used to the very cold winters, that kind of thing. He's got a lovely coat to him. What does he weigh at the moment?
So he's just come out of his torpor right now. He hasn't had the best sleep this year, I think, with everything going on.
Torpor's different to hibernation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Explain what torpor is.
So torpor's a little bit of a less deep sleep than a hibernation. So during torpor, the bears will actually come out of their dens. They'll have a mooch around. They'll still eat and they'll still drink. It depends on the bear as well. If it's super, super cold, their body is so well adapted to going into torpor that they actually don't need to come out and eat or drink.
Wow.
Which is cool.
Can you imagine that? And how long would they sleep for?
About 6 months, 5 or 6 months.
So imagine having 6 months in bed and not needing a wee.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
That would be
really
amazing.
nice.
I could do about half an hour.
Yeah, so their bladder's really cool. It turns urine into like protein. Same with their kidneys. Their kidneys are reniculate, so they're like a little sack of grapes. Lots of little kidneys within a kidney, and they're just really efficient. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And the idea of the run up to torpor, so before they go to sleep, they eat as much as they can, get really fat.
Yeah.
So you go out and eat everything you wanted to eat, get really fat, get tired, go to sleep, wake up in spring, skip the winter, wake up all nice and slim.
Get skinny.
That's a good way to go, isn't it?
So that's Diego. What about Brünhilda? Tell us her story.
So we acquired Bruhilda from a bear sanctuary in Romania, where she was placed there, rescued to put there from Ukraine, found near Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And they took her in, and then we acquired her at the end of last year. She was very nervy.
Yeah.
She's quite a wild bear.
Yeah, purely wild. So she didn't know what a car was. She didn't know what, a female voice was, a male voice was. She was very unknown to everything. So when we did get to know her, she came out of her shell, and she's this amazing,
Yeah.
sweet bear, and she's got
tiny.
a beautiful little face. 3 years old as well,
So she's young.
yeah,
She's what, half the size of him?
yeah, definitely.
So
yeah.
half the size, a slight different variation on the brown bear because she's from a different part of Europe.
Yeah.
And she couldn't be returned to the wild because, again, she was used to humans or the people that are looking after her. And also
the war.
Yeah.
You couldn't take her back. She had nowhere to go back.
No, basically.
And so we were the option. I'm delighted to have her.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But how are they getting on? Because they've only recently been meeting. He's quite used to other bears, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
She's not so much, or particularly a great big male
Yeah,
bear.
she's lived with the other young bears, I think,
Yeah.
her whole life. But obviously, he's twice the size of her. I
Yeah.
think we haven't actually managed to weigh her yet, but I think she's, if I could guess, probably about 150 kilo. And just before he went to sleep, he was about 360.
Yeah.
Now he's woken up, he's probably about like 290.
Yeah, I'd
I think
say
he'll
so.
still lose a little bit of weight over the next couple of months.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed that they can be together and
Yeah,
then
be
we see 'em.
friends.
Yeah, be friends, bit of company. Now, tell us a bit about their reserve, because when we look at our polar bears,
Yeah.
their reserve is a bit different, and the needs for a polar bear are different. So when it comes to brown bears, what do they need, and what have they got in that big reserve that fulfills that?
So they've got about 2 acres of kind of their woodland paddock.
Yeah.
They've got their compound and their 2 containers as well. So the 2 containers they're like dens basically. So
Right.
when it does come around to torpor, we'll fill them with straw and they can choose to go in there. Diego dug his own hole this year.
So he dug his whopping own.
Yeah.
So we provide beautiful little bedrooms
Yeah.
with lots of straw.
But then they've also got the option.
to do their
to
own
do
thing,
their own
which I
thing.
think is brilliant.
Yeah, so they've got 2 big pools. They've got one in the compound and then one in the woodland paddock.
Yeah.
The one in the woodland paddock is bigger. They love to swim in it. They love to play in it and
And that's got a
keep
little
cool in it.
aeration in it. It's almost like a little
Yeah.
jacuzzi.
Keeps it moving.
Yeah.
The most important thing is that in the woodland paddock, it is dense woodland. It's where you'd naturally find them in the wild.
Yeah.
So the most important thing for a brown bear is to give them enough places to climb.
Because that's what's different to, say, a polar bear.
Yeah.
Polar bears on the ice, open meadows, swimming, that kind of thing. Brown bears, the shape is different. It's all up front. It's digging.
Yeah.
And it's climbing.
Climbing.
I mean, they're basically excavators and mountaineers, aren't they?
Yeah. Seeing him dig is insane. Like he digs a hole so quickly.
Yeah,
It's insane.
he makes it quicker than we can sort of
Do it
push
with a
it
digger.
back. Yeah, with a digger. Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
He's
it's
so good.
unbelievable.
And what drives him to dig? What are the things he's looking for?
So he'll be looking for food to eat.
Yeah.
Also, he might be slightly interested in the 4 polar bears that we've got.
So the girls.
Yeah,
Okay.
the girls, because there has been mixes in the past
Yeah.
and hybrids.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to do
In
that.
the wild.
Yeah.
Not in zoos. In the wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, we think he might be slightly interested in them, trying to see what's going on. Also, he's a very people-orientated bear.
Okay.
So I think he wants to also be nosy and
Yeah.
see what is going on around him, because he can hear noises, but sometimes in the back part of it, he can't quite see. So
No, okay.
he needs to climb
Yeah.
the trees to then
See,
be able to have a look.
the smell's really important to the bears.
Mm-hmm.
Olfactory senses, so he can smell what's beneath the ground.
Yeah, they've got a really good sense of
and
smell.
want to dig that up, a bit
Yeah.
like a pig can. With
Yeah.
if there's a buried acorn, we'll dig and dig until it finds it. Bears the same if they find like beetle grubs or anything like
Roots,
that.
anything.
Roots. And what about climbing? How good is he at climbing?
Oh God, for a big bear, like he can
Is he quite agile? 'Cause
he
he's-
can get up that tree in
Yeah,
seconds.
he's quick, yeah.
Like they've got big oak trees in their paddock, and all of a sudden he's like at the top. And even when he's like middle of the year, at the end of the year, he doesn't really climb because he wants to conserve his energy. But
Yeah.
even when he's about 300 kilos, like you can see him at the top of the tree on these spindly little branches. You're like, how on earth do they not break? How does he
But
not
you
just
see,
like flick out?
Isn't it amazing when you look at those behaviours, the digging behaviour seen around his reserve, and then he's climbing up? They are a jack of all trades, bears, aren't they? So they've got to be able to exploit every food resource coming.
Yeah.
And some of it is below the ground, some of it's on the surface, and then some of it's up in the trees. And they are perfect
Yeah.
to be able to exploit all those needs, which is amazing. But then there's a challenge for you guys as rangers, because they're super intelligent.
Yeah.
They're equipped with all these claws and climb abilities and all this kind of stuff, a great sense of smell. How do you fulfill all those basic instincts and needs to keep them happy? How do you keep them occupied?
Many different ways.
Right. So
So
what
many
tricks have you got up your sleeves?
So-
What toys have you got?
May likes to do a scent trail. So with chunks of meat or fish,
Right.
we slap
Blood.
it about the enclosure,
Yeah.
so that spreads the scent, and then he might go to a different place and it's actually on the other side of the enclosure. Also, we can chuck it up the trees.
Yeah, we're very good at climbing.
Yeah.
So
right
you
up the
get in
trees.
there and
We're
you
like little
climb.
monkeys. We
Yeah.
climb right up the tree.
Right. So you get up there and hide.
Hide
Yeah.
it, yeah.
All
yeah.
his food
in a good
around.
little V within the branches
Yeah.
and the
Just to
trunk.
encourage him up there.
He's got funny traffic cones,
Yeah.
which we can pop food inside of it, and he'll either destroy it and get the food, or we can tie it up and it acts a bit like a bingo wheel, and it will roll, and then the food will eventually come out of it, which then he'll scavenge. But he's got to use his brain to work out how to get that.
Yeah, because all those little things a lot of people think, well, just give him the food. Wouldn't it be easier? You know,
Yeah.
well, don't torment him. But actually,
It's so important.
activating his brain and getting him to be more physical about things.
Yeah.
He's got to get active, got to be moving around, and that's what we'd be doing in the wild, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Ripping open tree trunks. And
It's
all
so
that kind of
it's
stuff.
so important. One of the biggest issues we face in captivity with captive bears is arthritis.
Right.
And I think it's just because they don't move. Like in the
Yeah.
wild, like you say, they'd be constantly doing, and it's so easy here to just chuck his food at him.
Yeah.
And
And after all, he would just get up, eat his food,
eat
go
the
back to
food.
bed.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
if we make it harder for him, we feed him different points throughout the day, we give him lots of enrichment and stuff, it really makes him use his body, use his muscles, get his heart going,
Yeah.
get all his organs working. And yeah, just encourage more natural behaviours as well.
Now, one of the things I really love about the brown bear enclosure, their reserve, is that all the toys are there. But there's one toy in particular that is brilliant, and it's really associated with bears, which is honey.
Yeah.
You've got a fake beehive.
Yeah.
It looks like a work of art as well. Tell me the story of the beehive.
So we came up with the idea, oh God, a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was months in the making. And I was like, how can I make, as someone who's not very good at DIY, how can I make a beehive? And I had the idea. One of my best friends is a wood carver. And I was like, I'm sure he would carve one for me. Took him about half an hour, I think. And
Really?
he donated it to us. His name's Henry. He's amazing. And it's Diego's favourite toy.
Yeah.
And now Brünhilda's played with it as well. And they just absolutely loved it. We smear honey all over it. We can put like different scents on it as well.
Yeah.
And it's just high enough up in the tree that he can't grab onto it and pull it down.
And it sits really well
Yeah.
in the woodland because you put cones up and stuff, and they're
Yeah.
a lot of fun for the bears, but they're orange.
very
and
natural.
Not very natural. This is a beehive just sitting there.
Yeah.
And the bears love it because they can sort of get on it but not quite grab
Yeah,
it.
like
It's
they
a little bit
climb
of
the tree.
frustrating to them, but, and it smells delicious.
Yeah.
And of course, all these toys and enrichments, they've got to be robust because
Yeah.
it's not like you've got a little puppy playing with it.
Yeah, I had a look at it the other day and it's got some slight damage to the underneath bit where I think he's probably got his teeth around it.
Yeah, okay.
But apart from that,
It's
I can't believe
well,
how
I reckon
well
we
it's
need
lasted.
to be making more of them and selling
Yeah,
them.
I reckon we should get some.
Because they are, I think they're brilliant, really,
They're really
good.
cool.
And
Every
there's
bear keeper should have one.
Every bear keeper should have a big wooden beehive. And actually, the other thing that's been really popular are those great big balls as well. He loves those. Does Brünhilda like those? I mean, what are they? What are they?
I
Yoga
think
balls?
they're boomer balls.
Boomer balls.
So they're just sort of an industrial size
Yeah.
boomer ball that you can give to your domestic
To your
dog.
bear.
No, I think
Well,
they're
yeah.
designed for...
Oh, are they?
They're designed for like
okay.
big predator species, like big cats, and
Right.
their plastic is so thick. When I take people down to polars for the experiences and stuff, I always get them to have a look at them because even though the polars can't get through them and destroy them, you can really they've got claw marks and teeth marks and stuff in them, and you can really get people to touch it and be like, wow, this is actually insane. But Diego's made loads of marks in them as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. But he likes to play around with them in the pool.
for 'em.
Yeah.
So we'll put him in the pool and then he'll just bob up and down with
Yeah,
it,
it's really
try and
funny.
drown it, and then it'll fly back up to the surface.
Yeah.
And he like tries to bring it back down.
You see, and it's amazing when you see that play and you suddenly see their strength and you think, actually, they're incredibly strong and incredibly agile and really quick. When you see quite a big lumbering bear, they can go from, a foraging animal to a predator
Seconds.
in a second,
Yeah.
can't they?
Yeah.
And the strength of their jaws, you can see their big flat heads, all that muscle attachment, crushing power, tearing power. So it's a big predator, big
boy.
predator. How would you deal with that in terms of day-to-day activities? Because you've got to get in there. Say you want to check the teeth or paws. You can't just go in and grapple a brown bear and go show us your paws.
Put him in a headlock.
Yeah, you get in the headlock. You can't sedate it all the time because
No.
that's not really good for them. So training's involved. So tell
Yeah.
me a bit about the training and what do you get these amazing bears to do?
So we've done quite a lot of kind of husbandry, like medical behaviours with Diego. We haven't done much with Brünhilda yet, have we? Because she's still quite new. We just wanted to let her settle in. But Diego's got a whole repertoire of behaviours under his belt now. He opens his mouth and shows us, I just open. And
So
he
open your
shows
mouth
me his teeth.
And he will open
Yeah,
his
he'll hold
mouth?
his mouth open, which is
Okay.
good. Could get mouth swabs, anything
So that's
like
amazing.
that.
So we allow you to put a swab in and take saliva.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he will present his side for injections. So
How'd you go? Turn around and show me your sides.
side.
Side like that?
Yeah, side.
And he knows left
and he
and
just
right?
stands up and he just turns away and expects a treat for it.
Well, you would though, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah,
You wouldn't do
exactly,
something for nothing.
exactly. But yeah, I can poke him on the shoulder, giving him an injection on the shoulder and on his bum as well, on the side of his thigh.
You see, that's incredible, isn't it? Because if you think about kids, I've got 4 kids. To get them to come to the doctors for an injection takes a lot of persuading.
Hassle.
Sweets, got to go to the toy shop, but to be able to say to a bear, give it sign language to present itself, and then stand there while you inject it or
Yeah.
draw blood out, and without any complaint, is something, isn't it? And
Yeah.
that shows you the skill of you guys, the rangers, but also every collection around the country that houses these animals have to have that repertoire of training. And the key to the training, what's the treat?
He
Grapes.
loves grapes and honey.
Grapes and
Grapes
honey.
and honey.
He'll do
yes.
anything for a grape.
Yeah.
Sounds like some sort of lord. So anything for a grape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We fan him as well.
Yeah, we have a little fan. But grapes and honey are the big
Yeah.
treat. And I suppose the honey being energy rich. And the great thing is that we have bees at the farm as well. So we
Exactly.
can produce our own honey, which I
Exactly.
love.
Yeah.
But that's so key to coax him along to do things.
Yeah, and he's just so willing to please. Like he loves spending time with us, doesn't he? I think now he's got Brunhilda. Hopefully they spend lots of time together.
Yeah, I've noticed with him though, and I've been there, and he's walked up to me and had a check out. Oh, hello, how are you? Oh, all right. And he walks off, and I go, Diego, and he turns around and goes, what?
Keeps side-eyed, doesn't he?
He goes, yeah, and he, I've got nothing. He's just, and walks off.
Yeah.
And he won't come again. He knows I haven't got anything for him, so he's pretty clever. He chooses if he wants to be nice,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. When we do the talks and stuff, we'll call him over so he can come and see his fans.
And he's got a lot of fans.
He's got a lot of fans.
The
And
amount of photographers that turn up.
Yeah,
And we've got
they
that
get amazing
viewing
pictures of.
Oh, we've got some amazing pictures. But people travel for miles to
Yeah.
see Diego.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he
he's
can
very
be
popular.
quite sassy.
Yeah, call him over and he'll like sit there and give him a treat or whatever, and then he'll stare at me and then he'll walk off. I'll be like, "Where are you going?" And he'll go like this at me, and then he'll get halfway down the hill into the paddock because he knows I've not got anything else, and he'll go again, and then he just goes, and then sometimes he'll come back and give me a side eye again, but other times he'll just sit in his paddock and be like
Grump.
grump. Yeah,
And let's talk about Brünhilda because she's very sweet.
she's lovely.
And she's got an amazing coat, really fluffy. And she's still got her juvenile markings on her shoulders. So when bear cubs are young, they have that white band across
Yeah.
their shoulders. And she's really come out of her shell. And you've done a lot of work with her in terms of getting her used to people, cars,
Yeah.
numbers of people, because you're only used to 2 people at a time.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of visitors, so you've had to do that. And now she runs up and down the fence
She
to
plays.
play, doesn't
Yeah.
she?
She
she
loves
does.
you, doesn't she? She
Yeah,
plays with you.
she's taken. I think because her keeper in Romania was a male, she took a liking to more me and Will, who's another bear ranger. Yeah, she didn't not like you, but she
No.
took her time to get used to you.
So
She just-
what you're saying is that Diego likes you,
yeah,
and Brünhilda prefers you.
yeah. Now she'll like you,
Yeah.
but yeah, she.
Yeah.
If we were standing at either end of the compound, she would choose to be next to either Will or myself.
Yeah, she's a man's bear.
Yeah,
Is
definitely.
she? Is she?
Definitely.
She's very, very sweet.
Yeah.
She looks like a little pom-pom.
She does.
I think.
Yeah, I looked the other day and I thought, yeah, I think you blow dried her. haven't you? And backcombed her,
a
backcombed her up
pom-pom.
and blow she's like whoop, really fluffy.
Yeah.
But she hasn't really gone into torpor this year. She hasn't had a sleep, has she?
No, so she got here a bit late, didn't
Yeah,
she?
we think because of the time of the year that
Yeah.
we got her, she just
Yeah.
didn't go into the
Didn't
torpor
settle.
stage, didn't settle properly, wasn't fattened up beforehand to then go to sleep, to
Not
then
enough.
Yeah.
go into the torpor.
No.
But she's been asleep a lot of the time though.
She's-
Not like a proper torpor, but she'll go into her container.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll see her first thing in the morning, check the cameras, nothing. End of the day, we'll see her, but she won't come out to say hello.
Yeah.
No. And we noticed a lot of denning behaviours as well, which is really positive. So she was in the compound, so obviously she couldn't dig a den like Diego has. But we noticed in the far container, it's like we've got a little tunnel in there, because they were separated, that end slide was closed. So she pulled a load of straw in there and made her own little den in there. So that's really positive. Hopefully next year we'll see more of a torpor from her.
Yeah. Yeah. And food wise, because they get a lot of interesting tidbits from their reserve when they wander around, and different trees are fruiting at different times, and there's lots of insects there, and you get the odd pheasant and pigeon.
Yeah.
But what are they eating? And that changes quite a lot, isn't it? Because how would you class the bears? More omnivores than carnivores?
Yeah, much more
100%.
omnivorous.
Yeah. So what's on their daily menu?
So as we go more into like the spring and summer, their veg and fruit intake goes up.
Yep.
And their meat intake decreases. And then as we progress sort of more towards the autumn time, their fish and meat intake will go up. That's not to say we cut it out of their diet completely. They still definitely do get it. But we also like to treat him with mealworms, crickets, locusts, peanuts is another one. And then, as I said already, fish. So yeah, they will graze as well. So, and eat roots of trees, the bark, and as we said already, honey. So yeah, they are
Springtime, they can get sap and stuff, don't they? If there's a birch tree that's the bark has been injured or ripped open, they'd start licking that.
Yeah, and then they've got their massive claws as well to make even more of a dent as well.
But I tell you what, those massive claws, amazing for digging and tearing and all that stuff. But I mean, they pick things up with the dexterity
They're like little
of a watchmaker.
Yeah.
They just sort of go whoop, and you think, how? And it's so delicate, and they pick a little. I mean, have you seen them use them in spectacular ways? Those claws.
Yeah. So our emus in the park will lay eggs, and we don't want chicks
More
from
emus,
them.
but they've got big eggs, haven't they? Big green eggs.
Big green eggs, and Diego loves them. We haven't had Brünhilda long enough to give her one yet, but I'm sure we'll give her one this year.
That's like a proper special treat.
Yeah, he will hold it in his paws. He's so gentle with it because he's such a big boy. He could just crush it. He'll hold it in his paws. He'll bite the top off, and then will lick the egg out of the shell. And then depends how he's feeling. Sometimes he'll eat the shell. Sometimes he'll just discard it. But yeah, I think that's really impressive of like his dexterity, considering how strong he is.
Just to hold it like that. We haven't got opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, so we've got Ask the Rangers. So this is where you guys can send in any of your questions you want about any of the animals. Send them on our socials, and then we will ask our rangers. So first one, what's your favourite animal in the park?
Diego.
Well, it has to be.
Yeah, Bruhilda.
What's Brünhilda's favourite snack?
Again, she loves a bit of honey.
Honey.
I think
Yeah.
it's just universal, to be honest.
Bears, honey. They don't like Marmite though, do they?
Not tried it.
Try it, because I'd love to see, because either you love Marmite or you hate it.
Do you know what he does like? I don't know about Brünhilda, but he likes pork scratching.
Does he?
Not very often.
Who doesn't like
just
pork
a little
scratching?
treat. Just a little treat.
A little pork scratching. And also, he likes pork as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does like pork.
Which is a bit of a worry, because he's not far away from the rare breeds area where all our pigs are.
Well, who knows?
Have the bears got close relationships with their rangers? That's from Lucy.
Well, I think we answered that already with
Yeah.
Well, it seems
Diego
split.
liking.
Diego.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Diego-
And then Bruhilda.
Diego
Yeah.
loves me. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's because I've done all the training and stuff with him.
It's probably the honey.
Probably. Yeah, cupboard love.
And the beehive.
Yeah, Brünhilda loves you guys.
Okay, so this is from Kate. What's Diego's favourite treat?
Honey.
Honey.
Honey, grapes and melon. Anything
Honey, grapes
sweet.
and melon. Wow. What can Diego's story of hope teach us from Michael?
I guess it's kind of never put an animal or cross out an animal as such. They've always got a chance.
Yes.
Especially of his age, of 16 now, is he?
14.
14, sorry.
Well,
14.
I think you're right, because it's like, I suppose, Diego and many of the other animals here, it's a story of second chances.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Second
And
chances.
People pulling together
Yeah.
to help a cause.
Yeah.
But obviously it wouldn't be, we wouldn't have been able to rescue him without the help of public. And
What a sense of community that was.
Exactly,
And
how
people
amazing.
From everywhere. I mean, even people working here gave donations out their wages and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff.
all for a bear they'd never met.
All for a bear they never
It's
met.
crazy.
It's mad, isn't it? But yeah, I suppose it's the story of second chances, would you
Yeah.
say? Yeah.
I'd say so, definitely.
Okay. How does Diego, in his habitat, use natural resources to hunt and forage food? That's from Megan.
He's a big grazer. He loves to graze on the grass. He's really lucky. A lot of bears in captivity won't have as much greenery as he does.
So a lot of
I
people don't think of bears eating grass, do
No,
they?
but he forages a lot for grass. He's actually got a pet pheasant as well.
So he's got a pet pheasant that he walks around
He
with.
keeps his pheasant as a pet. He's been in there for ages,
Yeah.
hasn't he? And
I
he
think
just
since we got him, the
Yeah.
pheasant's been in there and
the
just not
pheasant
left.
just hangs around. But
Well,
Diego doesn't seem too bothered about him.
Well,
to
the
be
fox
honest.
is never going to get that pheasant, is it?
No,
if your mate's a bear.
protected. I just wait until Brünhilda goes out, and then I think
Oh,
there'll be a different
be a
story.
it'll
I
be
think the
pheasant
pheasant will
was-
think better and leave.
Pheasant
but-
for Sunday lunch, maybe, for Brünhilda. But so I suppose, he's got the ability, he's got an incredible sense of smell,
Yep.
great claws,
Yeah.
amazing set of teeth. But also I think the best thing about a bear and what makes them so special about being so successful is their brain.
They're so intelligent.
I mean, how intelligent are they? Did you do an intelligence test once?
Yeah, so we had a researcher come and do an intelligence test with Diego. She'd done it with a few other brown bears throughout the UK. And basically it was a box where you could open it in different ways to get the treat that's inside. And she showed Diego all the ways that he could do it. And I think within the first couple of tries, he got it in the fastest way possible.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he was the fastest. But I
And
think
yeah, the fastest recorded
she
bear
said
so far that we know
he
of.
was the fastest.
So
She
we've
was
got-
like, after the first attempt, she was like, I think it's a fluke. And then the next 3 times, he was just like, swipe.
Wow.
Grapes
So
for
we've
me.
got a properly clever bear.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you do the test?
No, Will did though, and I don't think he was very good at it.
Diego was smarter.
Is Will still doing it?
Probably.
It's just unfinished on his desk. Poor Will. I'm sure Will did, but just as well as Diego. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen brown bears do? That's from Jack.
To be fair, the other day when we got Diego in the compound to let Brunhilda have a little explore, he's still a bit fat and sleepy at the minute, and he tried to haul himself up on the platform in his compound. Honestly, it took him about like 10 seconds to get up there, and this is the bear that goes up a tree in like seconds. He was just like,
it was just
can't do
too
it.
tired.
Yeah, but
Sounds
I don't
like
know
me.
about Brunhilda.
Sounds like me getting out of bed. Okay, where is Diego's favourite place to sleep? From Joe.
Well, currently at the moment in his den.
He loves his den.
In his den that he
Yeah,
built.
In his den that he built, yeah.
Yeah.
He does also have a patch of sort of wildflowers that he will just pass out in
Oh,
when they're
amazing.
in bloom,
Yeah.
at his paddock.
And actually, this goes this is from Lindsay. How many hours does a brown bear sleep?
Depends on the season. Typically, kind of throughout the year, bit before torpor, it'll be about 8 to 12 hours a day. So they do.
Wow, that's a
they
fair
do
old
sleep.
whack, isn't
yeah,
it?
they're lazy things. They sleep
Well, I
a
suppose
lot.
that's all about conserving energy, then, isn't it? So you don't
Yeah.
know when your next meal's coming.
Yeah, exactly. And then just before torpor, it kind of just starts increasing and increasing. And then when they go into torpor, it's probably about 23 hours a day.
This is a weird one from Robin. What animal has the smelliest poo?
Brown bears and polar
Yeah,
bears.
yeah, definitely the bears have the smelliest poo.
Did
yeah.
they tell you that before you took the job?
No.
Well, look, that's a brilliant one to end on. It's been fascinating. Thanks, Mae. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Into a little view of your world and, of course, the world of our amazing brown bears. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you again for another episode soon.